This is the best, the mightiest, and the most disgusting rogue build in D4. We previously made a rogue build here on the channel that was absolutely fucking bonkers, perfected for the shit newbies. This is the new version for the big daddy gamers, as promised, capable of clearing up to 160s in the pit and one-shotting Ubers, making it the best rogue build in the game by a large margin. So how does the build work, and why is it so damn good? Well, damn, due to some yummy double-dipping, obviously. The Victimize key, passive, used in this build double dips like crazy, and it's what we utilize to hit for billions upon billions in splashing damage. Now, this passive is being changed in Season 5, coming in a few weeks to allow for less double dipping, but at the same time, Pen Shot is being buffed. So in the end of the video, we'll discuss what will happen to this amazing build in the future. But first, let's discuss the skills. For speed blasting with ease, we're using Dash. For pushing, however, I recommend Smoke Grenade. And why is that? Well, shit, because we gotta be fast as fuckboy when we're blasting. But for pushing, the increased damage from Smoke Grenade is the way to go, to keep us unstoppable, as well as provide us with some of that lovely crit chance. We're also rocking Shadow Step. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard of another Victimize build this season, Heartseeker. So which one of these builds are the best? Well, this one, obviously, but that one is more brain dead. The reason this build is stronger, however, has a lot to do with cold imbuement. By utilizing this, we can benefit from a buttload of non-physical multipliers in the skill tree and Paragons, as well as allow us to get some easy, vulnerable, and stagger on enemies. Interestingly enough, cold imbuement will be available for basic skills as well in Season 5. But more on that later. A change that may seem minor, but is actually huge that I've made to the build from previously is swap out Puncture for Blade Shift. I made this choice after seeing some Chinese fella clearing 160s, and this skill is actually massive. Not only does it grant us 15% resistances, allowing us to drop it from the gear, but it's also a cutthroat skill. And by that, we can use tricks of the trade legendary node for a whopping 25% big damn. And that's a hell yes for me. For the main damage, we're obviously using Penetrating Shot because we love penetrating stuff over here at Paragaming. What's lovely about this skill is the high lucky hit chance, along with being able to gain more lucky hit chance via combo points from it. And as you may know, Victimize requires a buttload of lucky hit. With all of these passives, however, we don't need to grab shit on our gear, which is just lovely. And finally, we have Caltrops. This skill is a must-have, allowing us to stack up a buttload of damage via enhanced Caltrops. Unfortunately, this skill feels absolutely awful to play, but it doesn't have to be. Do you want to know why, my man? That's damn right. You can join Blizz and make some actual skills. And with that, I mean quitting your dead-end job and become a god-tier developer instead. Because it just so happens that today's sponsor is the coolest goddamn website ever, Boot.dev. And why is it so damn cool, you may ask? Well, shit, they provide programming courses in Python, JavaScript, and Go. But they've made it into an RPG game where you earn experience and items as you progress through it. And the course is obviously created in the correct way, that is, with a buttload of programming assignments. And oh man, oh man, oh man, do I wish this existed when I studied programming, because my bald old professor was about as enjoyable as hemorrhoids. This is the future of learning, my friend, and they know it, already collecting 250k users and a massive community. If you check out the description, you'll find a 25% code, and I can highly recommend getting it if you care about your future, that is. They know how good their website is, allowing you to use their resources for free, and a 30-day refund policy when you purchase it. So whether you're a student, sick of flipping burgers, or already a god-tier programmer in need of some freshing up, make sure to check it out. You won't regret it. Alright, back to my shitty video, because it's time to check out some gear and aspects, and you know it, my man. Now this helm is absolutely massive. The Godslayer crown. Not only massive to encapsulate your fat skull, but also fat in terms of the damage it brings. This is yet another double dipper and allows you to stack up enemies for those massive victimized explosions. And we sure love massive explosions. We then have the tiddy protection. Having Dark Shroud ranks here is by far the most important you can get, and you get the Dark Shrouds via Umbrous Aspect. This, along with dodge rating, is the only reason rogues are able to stay alive currently, so I'd say it's pretty damn important, LOL. Now, we obviously don't want to leave any fingerprints after all the atrocities we are about to commit to the demons in Sanctuary, so slap on these gloves right here and imprint Frostbitten Aspect for the big dam it provides. It's also important that you spread out the utility crowd control tempers on your gear pieces as to get a buttload of stagger. After that, it's time to slap on a pair of pantaloonies real good and imprint the assimilation aspect. And why not aspect of might? Does that not generate more damage reduction than the 14 from Fortify? Well, shit, son, of course. But dodge rating is absolutely bonkers as we get to keep our Dark Shroud stacks. It's then time to get fast as fuckboy and put on a pair of slick sneakers. Personally, I'm a big fan of Nikes, but these will do. One armor roll is enough to get capped. I'd probably swap the dodge for some more dex here though, but I'm all out of flowers, so screw that. For aspect, you're grabbing the concussive strike aspect for the big damage bonus. And then it's time for some actual fun stuff, the big daddy weapons. For the biggest daddy weapon possible, you're looking for this one. By far the most important stat here is chance to cast twice for your penetration shots. You need to get a good roll, masterwork this one twice and the one-hander once, or else you're giving up a buttload of big damn like I'm doing here. On the other one-hander though, you're grabbing Caltrops duration as to increase the damage from enhanced Caltrops. And for aspects, retribution as it's yet another double dipper, apparently, the expectant and volatile shadows. The volatile shadows one is pretty damn cool, as it allows us to add shadow imbuement into the mix without actually having it on our bars. Neat, huh? Hell yeah. Next up are the jewelry. And I'm not talking about my ballsack, I'm talking about the amulet. This one is pretty fucking bonkers, but it could be way better. Having malice instead of crit chance or weapon mastery would boost my damage hard, but hey, maybe someone will give me some gold once I'm famous. Either way, exploit is the most important, followed by malice and frigid finesse, and you need to temper cold imbuement ranks here. For the rings, I'm rocking Starless Skies for Big Dam, and then this one. Now here comes something important, so listen up. You need to have chance to make enemies vulnerable, and you preferably also need to masterwork the cold imbuement ranks here if you're running Starless, as you'll else run out of explosions. And explosions is what it's all about, my dog. And finally, for aspects, the edging master on the amulet and rapid on the ring is the way to go here. Well, damn son, will you look at that. We managed to complete the gear and aspects just in time, as it's already skill tree a fucking clock, and you know it. Starting off... shit, god damn it. You gotta take over while I grab a glass of water, my man.
No worries, Browski. AI Obama got your back. We first pick up Blade Shift. You already know why, for the Paragons, and the yummy all-residential right here. We then pick up some boring-ass passives, and the almighty pen shot. Enhanced and improved penetrating shot is where it's at, if you want to deal massive amounts of damage, that is. Oh shit, it's Downey boy. You want to join us?
We got to build a wall to protect us from all the massive explosions you'll produce after picking up the agility skills, that is. Hell yeah, you'll need Shadow Step, all of these lovely passes, Dash, and Caltrops. Caltrops is so hecking good, as you can see a whopping 69% multiplier here. You can get more from the tempers, but I'd rather stay at this one for the memes. Dash can also be replaced for Smoke Grenade when pushing.
Sup homies, I'm back. And as you know, We want a buttload of dodge, along with dark shroud ranks as to not fucking die. Lmao. Exploit is also found right here, along with Malice, which is a must-have. We then pick up Shadow Imbuement so that we can get Enhanced and Mixed Imbuement. Now we won't cast any Shadow Imbuments by ourselves, but instead via the Volatile Shadows aspect I talked about earlier. And these passives are one of the reasons we want Shadow Imbuments, and the second one being Big Hecking Explosions. We obviously want Cold Imbuement for Mixed Cold Imbuement and the Paragons, and Frigid Finesse for big damage. And finally, the Ultimates. Here we need 2 points in Innovation, as that should be enough to keep energy up. If you're struggling, grab one more. We also have the final lucky hit we need here. For key passive we have Victimize, and is the reason we grab as much vuln as possible on our gear. Well damn, you still here? Impressive. Now get out of here to hit that subscribe button, that is, you beautiful man or woman, and while you're at it, turn off the Riley Reid 9-man gangbang on your second monitor, because next up is the Paragons, and that will require your full attention. Starting off, we take Canny for the additional cold damage. We then pick up Tricks of the Trade, which we can utilize due to us rocking Blade Shift. You also want to socket Exploit here to instantly make enemies vulnerable, and for longer fights, you have Vulnerable on your ring and Cold Imbuement, which sorts that shit out with ease. Up here is where you find Eldritch Bounty, which is another reason as to why Cold Imbuement is hecking good, and you'll grab this one last as we're not using any rare nodes here. We then head on over to the Deadly Ambush board, where we grab the legendary node and gain the bonus via Caltrops. This is also where you find Poison Resistance and Ranger for the additional defense and dexterity. You can also swap it for Chip if you need more damage, seeing as it also uses dex. We then go to Exploit Weakness, grab the node, and socket Fluidity with ease. You also have Cold Resistance here, allowing you to grab the other resistances in your jewelry sockets and get yourself capped. And finally, Cheap Shot. This is where we socket Control, which is yet another double dipper. A lot of double dipping going on here, no wonder everything keeps exploding. Anyhow, Paragons successfully completed. Let's check out how to get hecking good and finish off with the Season 5 changes. Now, unlike that brain-dead fucking Heartseeker build, or well, pretty much every bar build, this one requires a bit of finesse if you're pushing into the highest of pits. But for farming, it's easy as hell. Since we're running combo points in this build, you stab the enemies 3 times, followed by making them explode via pen shot. For the skills, dash is your mobility, but you also gain 15% big dam if you dash through your enemies. If you're running with smoke grenade instead, then it's simply for damage. Shadow Step is also your mobility skill, but should ideally be saved for when you're crowd controlled, or else you'll hecking die Lmao. When it comes to Cold Imbuement and Caltrops, however, you're just using them as frequently as possible. There's also a secret tech that is not so secret but pretty damn good, and that is for Caltrops. You can keep the maximum Caltrops bonus if you drop a new one on top of the old, which you can use with ease on bosses, for example. Other than that, you just blast man and have some fun. Because if anything, this build is fun. Alright, so that's everything Season 4 related. What will happen in Season 5 then? Well, for starters, a buttload of double dipping mechanics will be removed from Victimize. And why are they removing them? Honestly, no clue, man. There are currently top builds utilizing close quarters, precision, and Victimize. So if they gut the double dipping completely, then expect it to be completely dead. But even if that happens, we still have the precision key passive to play with. And seeing as penetrating shot in itself is receiving massive buffs, the build should still be viable and thriving. So either Victimize stays and the build is the best in the game, or it's gutted and we play Precision instead for an A tier or low S tier build. Either way, Penetration Shot is looking pretty damn solid either way. I'll keep you up to date as Season 5 drops, my lovely viewer. Alright, that's all for me. See ya later, kings.